Sorry about that. And then we'll actually go into our last section, which is my favorite addition to the home gym in the past year. So I am going to give this award to the something that I just basically find myself using every day. I didn't necessarily think I would be. It's right there. It's so simple to operate, but it is the cable tower with weight stack from Bells of Steel. So I'm just going to give a quick rundown as to why I like it so much. I also did a little write-up as well. We'll put that in the notes as well if you want to read that. But I think it all starts with the footprint. So it is on the ground. It only takes up about 25 inches by 29. So takes up like less than a third of a stall mat. And then it's also, I'm always looking for things to where that I can put underneath my garage doors. So at 6.75 feet, it fits underneath the garage doors really well. I have personally knocked down the garage doors by leaving things that are too tall multiple times, and it's cost me quite a bit of money. So to get somebody out here and fix it. So I definitely appreciate that. And they slide in right underneath, and there's more pictures, but it basically slides in between both of the garage doors really perfectly. So yeah, I think the footprint is just tough to beat. Next, just kind of with that, as I mentioned, it's just incredibly convenient. And I think the weight stack includes some nice benefits that make it worth the cost if you can do it over like something like a plate loaded. It is 3 times the price, but personally, I think if you can do it, do it. So number one, it just takes a few seconds to change the weight if you're familiar with stack weights, as opposed to changing it out with plate loaded, where you have to go back and forth and add and remove and add and take out. So I think that's the most convenient thing about it. I also think it's very convenient because you have the ability to just set it down on your floor, and it's very stable without having to anchor it into the floor or into the wall. So this gives you the ability to, while it's not easy to move around, you have the ability to just like shift it as your garage or basement changes. There's really only a few situations where if you do use it, then it becomes a little bit wobbly. For example, if you're using it as a 1-to-1 ratio and using heavyweight and pulling it straight down, it moves a little bit. But overall, it's rock solid. I think just moving the height for different movements is a breeze. And then lastly, it's just kind of always right there. Or it's not like a barbell where you have to like change the weights in and out. You basically just there, you just walk up to it and there. I find myself just like, if I'm walking in and out of the garage, I just take a second and do a few sets. So it's just kind of always there. Or if you're like lifting, it's nice to have 4 supersets as well. So just in general, convenient in a lot of different ways. Kind of mix and match the benefits, but convenience.
Did you replace your functional trainer with this?
No, but that's something I want to touch on at the end. But I can just do that now. So no, I have not replaced it yet. But if I had to do it again, since I have had the functional trainer and I have had this single stack, I would certainly get the single stack, because I find myself, even if I just had a functional trainer, find myself using just one side more, 95%, as opposed to like if you are using both of the cables with like a functional trainer. So just that, and in combination with the lower price and then the lower space savings, I think it's a better option for most people who are concerned about space. So I do think like that 54% we talked about earlier should be flipped, or it should be more. There should be more than 46%, I think was the number, choosing something like that over a functional trainer. But so you're one step ahead of me. Good question. And then with this specific one, it's just very smooth with aluminum pulleys as opposed to plastic. All of the movements feel good. I think with some of the plastic, and maybe I know you've mentioned on like the Titan plate loaded one, if you're doing like light weights, it kind of sticks a little bit. I definitely don't notice that with this. And then also just moving in multiple different directions. This one works really well, and it's smooth with all movements. So yeah, those aluminum pulleys make a pretty big difference. I don't want to go over like everything you can do, but with 33 different adjustment points and then the multiple ratio options, there is just quite a bit you can do, and very convenient again to easily change it. I really like it's really cool. It's really nice to be able to just like play with your different attachments as well. So get this, and then you can kind of build around it with cool attachments and keeps it interesting. And then the last thing I was going to mention was how I would choose this over a functional trainer if I had to do it again. And then also I would just say it would be something that I would most likely add to my home gym journey early on, right after. It'd be one of those things I would really consider after adding just the basics of the like a rack, barbell, plates, bench. I would seriously consider adding something like this to keep workouts more interesting and just keep in mind the like overall value and space this one takes up early on in the home gym build out. I know Adam has the plate loaded option one, and we will definitely be getting some more stuff out on that as well, and then also just diving into which one's a better option for certain people. Whew, that was a lot of talking.
Told Jake we gotta get back in podcast shape. 2 weeks off.
Any questions? Yeah. Any questions, Adam?
Nope. You said just like a little rock when you're like maxing it out with a 1-to-1 ratio.
Right. So yeah, I would say
like has to be anchored, or
no. I would say. So first of all, there are a few things I would say. So one thing that Bells of Steel does not mention on the product page is the 1-to-1 ratio. They basically just say 2-to-1 ratio. But if you combine both of the cables with carabiners, you can add like a lat pull down bar in the middle and use it as like a 1-to-1 ratio. They don't mention that on the product page, and I think there's reasons for that. So number one, it slides up a little bit, and there's a little bit more of a friction. The pulley, the cable doesn't go 100% on the pulley, or it's real easy to get off. So I think there would be more friction on the cable, which might fray it. And then also, like I mentioned, if it's at the top and you're pulling down, it does tilt forward. I noticed that at maybe about 150 pounds. So if you really want this for a lat pull down, I wouldn't bank on using it as a lat pull down.
yeah,
That would be one caveat I have. Like, sure, you can, but it's definitely not going to be ideal. Number one, you're going to be on the ground. Number two, that friction. And then number three, it would have to be bolted or against a wall or something like that, which, is just kind of an extra step. But I mean, other than that, it's rock solid for traditional functional trainer movements,
Yeah. What's the weight stack at?
210.
Does it come with band pegs or no?
No.
Okay. Cool.
No.
You can always use a gym pin if you wanted to add more weight.
Yeah, you can use gym pin. Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, and it's right here.
It's right there.
So you can kind of see
Jake's left shoulder right there.
I know we have a little screens probably set up for this, but you can kind of see how it fits perfectly in between the garage doors,
Good spot.
right underneath the rails. Yeah.
Sweet.